face. Okay, we got a couple of letters to go through. I think we should do the damage now so that we can not have to worry about it later. How's that sound?
Okay.
I believe I'm looking for January. There we go. Starting here.
All right, Langdon. I went to the beach. Sam, until you showed up with that blood, I was as good as dead. I remember lying on a gurney, a buddy calling my name. I heard him, even though I must have been unconscious, and then I was looking down at myself. Nobody seemed to notice me, and then there was this light that came down from the ceiling. It was bright, so bright I had to close my eyes, and I could feel it pulling me in. As I floated up towards it, I heard waves breaking on the shore, and when I opened them, I was by the sea, alone. I couldn't tell you how long I was there for. It felt like it was years, but it also felt like I had only just arrived. And then I heard a voice, so I chased after it, chased it beneath the waves. All of a sudden, something's got my leg and it's pulling hard, and the next thing I know, I'm awake, and my buddy's yelling, "He's alive, he's alive." I'd been to the beach and back. What would have happened if I'd stayed? Oh.
Meanwhile, Heartman's like, yawn.
And you go back.
You know, like, bruh.
This place sucks.
Literally.
Ugh.
I went to the beach twice in the time it took you to write this email.
Pretty much.
Fuck off. You ain't special.
While you were running your spell check.
Yeah.
Finding the words to put your ideas into. Anyway.
You ain't special. The Craftsman, the age of printed nukes. Yikes. I used to have this prepper friend, an older guy, who'd always talk about how the good old days before the Stranding, well, yeah, the elder, I guess. 3D printing was all the rage, apparently, and the tech could be used to spit out pretty much anything you could think of, even the most complicated stuff. Didn't take long before the first gun to be printed. All you had to do was input the right data, and you had yourself a firearm. That does exist.
Yep.
Plastic. Mm-hmm. People didn't think much of it at first, just kids messing around and all that, but it didn't stop there. Printed guns became printed bombs became printed nukes. Illegal as hell, of course, but the government couldn't do anything to stop it. If you've got no idea who's packing a nuke, the best course of action is to make sure you're packing one yourself, right? That's how people thought back then. Anyway, mutually assured destruction for every honest citizen. People saw enemies everywhere, terrorists, sleeper cells, all that shit. And then there was an explosion. The Death Stranding had nothing to do with nukes. Of course, but people were pretty quick to jump to the wrong conclusion. Almost everybody assumed it was terrorism. Why wouldn't you? Anyway, this old-timer, he didn't want anything to do with the other people. He just wanted to shut himself up in his shelter and be left alone. He was scared. Everything that came before had led to a world filled with weapons. I could see where he was coming from, thinking society and government were doomed to fail, but I'm more optimistic. As long as we remember the mistakes of the past and we strive for a brighter future, I believe we can prevent another explosion. I guess what I'm saying is, I'm fully aware of the risks, but I think we've got to give the UCA a shot. Bro, I had to convince you to open your door. Like, it's been like a week since you were like, who are you? Give me my package.
Yep.
Get out. You know? You sound awfully, awfully drunk on Kool-Aid right now for somebody who was way not into it.
The first prepper. Good to meet you at last. It was so good to see you the other day, Sam. You wouldn't believe how long I'd been waiting to meet you. Thanks for the delivery, too. You know, I think it was over a decade ago when I first heard rumors about you. You're the most famous porter there is. Matter of fact, I'm kind of well known myself. In the prepper world, that is. After all, my grandfather's grandfather's grandfather was living the shelter life back before most anybody even knew what a shelter was. Yeah, that's right. I'm a 7th gen prepper. One of the first prepper family, the originals, as it were. Know who got that kind of pedigree pumping through their veins? Me, myself, and nobody else. My shits contain more concentrated prepper wisdom than the rest of these amateurs will ever scrape together. Okay, calm down there. Now, don't get me wrong. I've got nothing against porters, but if you think I want anything to do with this so-called country, you've got another thing coming. I bet you feel the same sometimes, right? Well, how about it? How about ditching the bridges gig and joining up with us? Oh, wow.
Anyway,
Yeah, he's like, yeah, we're the coolest prepper, but you're cool too. How about you ride with us and you don't do your own thing over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So
You fell off. Just
3D printed nukes as a mind exercise, as a thought experiment, is obviously a horrifying concept because no one person can ever build up enough enemies to need a nuke to deal with them.
yeah.
You understand?
If
You gathered everyone in your life that you had a problem with, a nuke would still be way too many.
Yep.
Right? Even
It's
if it got
useless.
to that state, it's completely pointless. But here's one thing that you can't solve with 3D printing. Fuck, what are you going to print? Enriched uranium? The fuck are you talking about? Like, that's just not going to happen. That step makes no sense unless you find a completely different way of doing it, which pretty much at this point in the game is like, yeah, find somebody and kill them and keep them contained until,
Yep.
if there's a coffin that could detect a moment a void out would go down, that's a bomb, right?
Yeah.
That's a free nuke. But you're not going to 3D print enriched uranium.
It's not gonna happen.
Oh, Conan, what's up?
Hey.
My all-American cosplay convention dreams coming true. Oh, let me get a sip here. Excuse me. Well, Sam, I never thought this day would come. But it looks like we're going to host an all-American cosplay convention. All credit to you, of course. Well, you and the Chiral Network. Anyway, we've been pretty busy preparing for it now, but I just wanted to drop you a line and tell you something you might like. More and more porters are getting into cosplay and transforming themselves into you, Sam. I don't mean they're just wearing the same clothes as you, either. They're adopting your voice, mannerisms, and everything.
So they're like, leave me alone.
That's fucking weird.
Fuck out of here. Don't touch me.
Honestly, I actually thought it was you the first few times, but there's no way the man who delivers could work so quickly. I've got to say, people are getting so good at cosplay, it's scary. Well, what an honor for you, huh? You should be so proud yourself, Sam. He doesn't know. This is the multiple Sams theory.
Right.
He's experiencing other preppers that are other Sams without necessarily catching on to the fact that, yeah. What if Sam is every porter?
Everybody, yeah.
Every porter is a Sam. Everyone we walked by, everyone we thumbs upped. Hey, my name's Sam too.
Ourselves. The Collector. I'm publishing a new magazine. Dear Sam, I'm writing to inform you of a rather exciting development. I have devised a method by which the Chiral Network and your consummate abilities as a porter could be combined to usher in a new age for America. What is the one thing we have yet to truly transmit via the network? The trials and tribulations of our friends and saviors? The porters? That's what? Their thoughts, their feelings, their musings as they walk the lonely road, the grand vistas to which they bear witness. I believe that if humanity were able to share in their incredible experiences, we might stand a better chance of coming together as one. Would you permit me to use you to test this theory of mine? I wish to chronicle your travels so that people can be united in their appreciation of your daily struggles. I might call it Keeping Up with the Couriers. Or perhaps something with Hamamura? My family name? Names are hard.
How about a fucking camera? Like, what do you call those things again?
The GoPros? Or
A GoPro. How about you just strap a GoPro on, and then I'll make it myself, and you fucking don't take any of the credit. Jerk.
There you go.
How's that climate anchor treating you? Thanks for helping me out back there, Sam. Out of curiosity. You had the chance to use that climate anchor I gave you? It's pretty special, you know. The missus used to use it. It was custom made by her Carol craftsman. By a Carol craft. It's super tight and durable and just the thing you rough need to arrange. She wants you to have it. Her way of thinking, yeah, all right. For bringing a baby boy into the world. Apparently a use. Yep, thank you.
Good stuff. The Mountain Guide. We've picked a name. Dear Sam, I thought I should let you know that our son is in good health, which is a relief, because I was so nervous giving birth with just the two of us here. But the duck gave me great advice, and in the end it felt like he was here in the room with us. I also wanted to say that if you hadn't shown up when you did, this baby of ours might not be here. I might not be here. The doc was a huge help, of course. There's no denying we owe so much to the generosity of many people. But it all began with you, which is why we're going to name him Sam. I pray that as he grows older, he'll bring people together just like you. Hey, we bring people together.
How about that?
We are connecting America. Literally.
And just like that, the next time she picks her baby up, the baby is like, don't touch me!
Just call me Mama, please.
There you go. Yep.
Don't touch me, mountain guide.
The baby has little handprints all over it. Old lady, you didn't talk. Following in her father's footsteps. Dear Sam, you've done more for my family than you can ever know. It's a tremendous comfort to know that my husband didn't die in vain, especially since it seems like his work was so important. My daughter has her heart set on doing even more, though. She's going to investigate further. Proud as I am, though, the thought of putting herself in danger yet again is, well, let's just say I'm a little conflicted. But I expect a man like you would call that being selfish. Forgive me. The last thing you need is me burdening you with my worries. You'll be careful out there, you hear? You know something about reading all these emails together? They don't feel like they were written by different people. You understand? They feel like the same person wrote them in the words of these characters, but they have a very similar style of writing. And I feel like different people on the staff almost should have taken a crack at these characters. Oh. Right? Because, for example,
I get it.
The last paragraph here, right? The last paragraph of this. Well, let's just say I'm a little conflicted, but I expect a man like you would call that being selfish. Forgive me. Last thing you need is me burdening you with your words. You be careful out there. You hear? That sentence, that little segment could have applied to any character.
Yeah.
Anyone we encountered, any of the people we've met in this game could have said that exact phrasing. And it's super obvious that it's the same tone in every email, right? I definitely feel like it would go through a lot smoother if different people write out these things because different people use different sentences and speak in different ways. You know, it's becoming too obvious now, 100 some odd emails in, that the tone is always the same. There's a very simple, sincere, polite tone that everyone in this game shares. And this, at the end of their sentence, they'll say, well, I guess that's just the way it is. Anyway, Sam, great to hear from you. Hope you come see us again soon.
Take care.
And it's like no one's being, even the guy that's gruff is like, hey, I hear you, but I don't want to do anything to do with that UCA stuff. I'm just fine doing what works for me. Connections might be important to you, but even then you're being the same voice. Yeah. You're being the same voice, No one's speaking in line breaking and cutoffs. No one's using different, there's a lot of ways you can write, and it's becoming very, very obvious, I think. So let's read the next one.
The terminal only works because of the network. Thank you again for not only delivering that terminal mine, but providing a network connection for it to function. Otherwise, it would have been no better than a box of circuits and solenoids. The network has made a difference in other ways as well. It's that much harder now for city doctors to ignore the sick out here. For a start, their manner, that out-of-sight, out-of-mind attitude towards the suffering beyond the walls, drove my husband crazy, and was one of the reasons we moved in the first place. Without even a modicum of compassion or consideration, they demand people come into town to see them. And when those poor folks inevitably couldn't make the trip, corpse disposal ended up with more bodies to burn. I couldn't help but be moved by his passion for his profession. Didn't think twice about joining him or marrying him. I thought a great deal about what kinds of benefits the Carol network might bring, which led me to devise a terminal as a means of treating patients remotely. As he may have told you, we only have the one for now, but if it continues to perform well and we can find the means to mass produce them, we could help a whole lot of people, but only if the network is there to provide support. So keep expanding it. It'll help in more ways than you can imagine. All right.
I'm in love with a man nearly twice my age. Don't care what people think. Da, 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 da. No? Yeah. as I go my way. I don't
was
care
so
what people
young.
say.
I was a
I'm in
toddler.
love with a man nearly twice my age. I did jump it. I did jump it. I did jump it.
I was a toddler when that was popular. I was like, oh, fuck. I was super young.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, dude, like, that doctor is up there. And she is not. A guide for the dead and the living. Sam, I've discovered something very interesting. Hold on. Oh, god damn it, it's the spiritualist. I was like, I saw the... I wasn't...
The twin!
I wasn't paying attention. I just saw the face and I was like, oh, yeah, what's up?
Oh, damn it. I have no... Yuck.
Ugh. God. Back in school, there was Kevin and there was Anthony. And one of them was cooler than the other.
Oh, damn. Oh, that sucks for the guy that wasn't as cool as the other.
And, well, we won't say on mic.
We won't say who was cooler.
You know the truth. Sam, I've discovered something very interesting. It concerns all sacred treasures commonly found in the burial chambers of Egyptian pyramids. You might know this already, but pyramids were truth gateways to the beach. Egyptians knew everything we know now about the mysterious realm, quite possibly more. The Book of the Dead describes in detail how souls leave the body after death, and also serves as a kind of guide for souls looking to find their way to the heavenly garden of the afterlife. In other words, those looking to find their way through the beach to what lies beyond. Okay, but Kojima, how did the Egyptians figure this out without any technology on our level? Right? If they figured it out a long time ago because old stuff is mystical and cool and true,
Yeah.
how did they figure it out? Did they just start, like, drawing and worshiping things that looked cool and said, let's call that a thing, and then it turned out they were right with their guesses? Or were they visited by something that actually told them the truth? How were they right? How did they know? What's the difference between Egyptian ancient history and other ancient histories from different cultures that were wrong about it? Why aren't we on turtles all the way down? You understand? Like, the mysticism of the ancients is really cool the further away we get from it, but why were they right? How did they figure it out?
Yeah.
Magic? Is magic is that it?
Magic
What's the
seems
deal?
like a pretty good reason for me.
You know, did they have their own beaching that they were able to, what's up? So you see, the beach was always with us. We simply lost knowledge how to access it and traverse it. Perhaps that's why BTs found their way from the other side. None amongst the living possessed the knowledge of how to stop them. And perhaps if we regain that knowledge, we can put an end to the Death Stranding once and for all. It's worth considering, don't you think? The concept of lost ancient knowledge is like super appealing in a story, but I definitely my brain gets overactive at times and makes me go like, but think about how stupid we are, and think about how double stupid we were back then, right? Triple stupid even.
Yeah.
We're really
Degrees
dumb.
of stupidity, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But we figured out some crazy shit. Like they got pyramids made, right? That's wild.
Impressive.
That's crazy wild.
Yeah.
But in terms of the unseen, unknown spiritual energies and the nature that like we're able to crack open with science right now, how do you know how'd they get it right? What's the anything on that, you know?
No, that's all you get.
Okay.
All right.
Old shit is magical and therefore correct.
It works. You can't question it. How prepping got started. So you showed up again. Well, ain't I just the luckiest guy around? Trying to butter me up so I'll share some nuggets of prepper wisdom, I'll wager. All right.
Why do you call them nuggets?
I don't know.
You know why. It's a follow-up. That's what you call a...
Pieces of... Lesson number 1. Back when my kin first decided
Callback.
shelter life was the only life for them, there was a Cold War on, and that meant there were 2 types of people. Those who wanted to nuke the rest, and those who wanted to nuke those other guys before they could nuke them first. That's pretty much it. Don't gotta tell you that nuclear war means everybody's fucked. So my kin got to thinking that maybe they'd be better off digging themselves shelters so somebody still be around to rise from the ashes when the big day finally came. And then the idiots in charge came within a hair's breadth of actually pressing the big red button, and the president got himself shot, and suddenly it seemed the world was really fixing to tumble off a cliff. What happened then? More preppers, that's what. More folks seeing the writing on the wall and deciding they didn't want to go out with a bang. The way the family legends tell it, before long there was a whole village of guys looking to dig in and sit out the end of the modern world. Sure you don't want to come and join us, Sam? Yep.
This guy's great-great-grandfather put Kimmy Schmidt in a bunker.
That's who they picked?
That's the lineage of the first prepper.
Oh my god.
The lineage of the first prepper is fucking the asshole reverend from what's his name from Mad Men? John Hamm. Weird stuff in Dad's old photos. Listen, Sam, there's something I thought you should know. The data you brought me from the Mountaineer used to belong to my father. I decided to stop taking trips outside because it stressed my mom out too much. So I started going through his old stuff instead. Turns out some of those pictures are pretty interesting and pretty weird. There's a lot more pictures in Mountain Knot City area. For example, from before the tar showed up and started spreading. And there's something really strange in the shots. Some kind of object, I guess? Something glowing. I'd be lying if I didn't really want to go take a look for myself, but I couldn't do that to my mom. You go check it out, though, even if you're ever in the area. You hear? Yeah, I got that one.
Okay. The Spiritualist, can you believe it? I went to the beach. Nice for you. Sam, you have been receiving my mails, haven't you? I hope so.
God damn it.
They're important.
Unfortunately.
Have you read them? I sent you a message just now. If you could, tend to it, that would be really nice.
Hey, how about you holler at your sister?
I'm sorry, what? They're important. All the more now that I've managed to visit the beach. The Egyptian treasure I told you about, it opened a gateway while I was examining it. I'm not sure how or why it happened, but I began to hear the sound of crashing waves. I focused on it, became lost in it, and when I came to my senses, I was somewhere else entirely. I looked up into the sky and saw a great glowing sphere, the moon. Until then, I had only ever seen it in old pictures and photographs, but there it was, floating above me, surrounded by countless twinkling lights, stars. I cannot begin to describe how beautiful it was. I realized then I must have traveled through time to a period when cloud clouds and did not blot out the sky above. The excitement was almost overwhelming. I just can't believe I didn't have my camera with me to document it. I promise you though, it wasn't a hologram or a hallucination. It was the real night sky, and I saw it.
I wish I could just close up the front of her prepper shelter and just slowly push it down the mountain.
Wow.
Just close the door, just and just down the mountain you go.
She's not a bad person.
We're done. We're done receiving emails from the Spiritualist. Thank you very much. We're through. Preppers at the turn of the century. You came back. Thanks, Sam. I really feel a whole lot closer to you ever since I signed up with Bridges. My grandfather was born on the cusp of the new century, a century a lot of folks might not live to see. More than ever, we were taking up our way of life, and lo and behold, Prepper Village became Prepper Town overnight. Trouble was, the big one never came and the century clicked over just fine. A year later, though, huge terrorist attack, worst ever at the time. In the face of what? America came out fighting for justice, or so we claimed. We got bogged down by stupid wars overseas and faced ridiculous levels of inequality at home. People totally lost faith in the government, and another new generation of preppers was created. So yeah, I don't give a shit about American Reconstructionism, but I like you, Sam. I'd like to meet you again. Yeah, he kind of, when you do a delivery, he goes, you're the closest thing I have to a friend.
Yeah, but we're not friends, though.
So.
Sign here. A legion of Sams. Sam, truly your dedication to your work is an inspiration to us all. How often have you come to visit me now? I've lost track, and on each occasion, your every aspect so different. Your face, your manner, your equipment, always different. Incredible, but it almost makes sense. Considering how hard you work, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a legion of Sams. But as much as I appreciate it, you don't have to keep coming here for my sake. Surely you have more important things to do out west.
Kojima didn't have to make a point in the plot out of the video game having multiple Sams doing things. But he did anyway. And
It's good. Now we know.
so it's in canon, in world, multiple Sams are running around
Yeah.
doing things. It's everybody's seeing them and getting weirded out by it. But not really. You want to hear the rest of my story? Tough. You're getting it anyway.
Oh, God damn it.
I told you about a terrorist attack that happened when my grandfather was a kid, right? Well, it wasn't so long after that the Death Stranding happened, and that made terrorism look like child's play. Of course, the U.S. government actually thought that the Stranding was... Okay, I was trying to get an understanding for the timeline, because when he's like, my grandfather's grandfather's grandfather was a prepper, that clearly is like before our time even.
Yeah.
Right? That's 4 people ago. That's over 100 years.
Yeah. That's how it feels like.
So, yeah, the U.S. government actually thought that Stranding was another attack at first. That's why they messed up their response so badly. That's why the country went to shit. No problem for preppers like my grandfather, though. They'd already been prepared for that, and eventually they didn't need the country to take care of them. I'm not deluded, though. I don't think preppers like me are self-sufficient. I know full well I wouldn't be alive if it weren't for reporters like you bringing me what I need. Look, I'm not expert. But if you ask me, the Death Stranding is only going to get a whole lot more worse from here on in. People in the not cities don't get ready for that, and so do you. People in the not cities need to get ready for that, and so do you. Being prepared isn't just for preppers, you know. Anyway, the point is, guys like me, all we want is to be free from our own masters. And if joining the UCA means we'll be able to do that, then sure, I'll give it a go. We'll get to work together at last. How about that, huh? Generic voice, generic sounds.
Yep. How about that?
It's all blending together. Yeah. It's all blending together. George Baton.
Sending you likes. Still keeping on, Sam? Me, I've been practicing going outside, longer and farther each time. Thought I'd conquered my fears at one point, that I'd be making deliveries like nobody's business before long. That was before I wandered into mule territory for the first time. I panicked and dropped damn near everything I was carrying. Guess it belongs to them now. That little hiccup aside, I've managed to put up a few signs and watchtowers and other stuff I figured you guys might like... I figured guys like you might appreciate, so it's not like it's all bad. Haven't met any other porters face to face yet, but I can tell they're liking what I've done. As in, they've given me likes. Oxy and smart drugs might help to level me out, but I tell you, when someone hits you with that like, it's a feeling like no other. That confirmation that you've made a positive difference in someone else's life, it's grand, man. Anyway, good luck with everything. Sending all the love and likes. Yep, that likes thing sure hit different.
Distilled. Ludens are our saviors. It was great seeing you again, Sam. You really are one in a million. Oh, I started using the Chiral network to look into the history of that whole Ludens thing. I don't have it all figured out yet. It's clear that it was pretty important. I mean, the game it symbolized was friggin' huge, completely unlike anything that had come before. It exploited man's potential to play in exactly the way Huizinga described when he coined the phrase Homo Ludens. He had this theory that play was older than even culture itself, and that it was the heart of what made us who we are. I believe that we can rediscover the kind of play he was talking about. We can undo the damage caused by chiral contamination and rid the world of Homo Gestalt and Homo Demons once and for all. To think that games could be the key to saving humanity.
Deep message there.
You don't get to call yourself Homo something else just because you like stuff. That's not how it works.
Where roads lead, Georges Baton. Thanks for
fucking Doritos Pope.
Thanks for stopping by again, Sam. When I was performing maintenance on the buildings the other day, I saw some footprints you'd left behind. Took a moment to retrace them, like I was literally walking in your footsteps. Felt pretty cool, ain't gonna lie. Unfortunately, I got a little carried away and found myself in mule territory. Again? Come on, man. Realized it before they caught me, but man, you should have seen me turn tail and run like the wind. I do not want to meet those guys in the field. No, sir. Even so, it was fun walking where you'd been before. Felt like I was connected to you and your legacy in those moments. Just make sure you make it back in one piece like I did. All right, George, you be a trooper out there.
Yeah, I think this guy's cooked. You ain't cut out for it, bro. Are you a Ludens? I had this crazy idea, Sam. What if you're the perfect example of Homo Ludens? Think about it. You're with bridges, but you're not beholden to them. You're the only one who can expand the network, so they need you as much as you need them, if not more. Taken all together, you're pretty much free to do whatever you want, including coming way out here to visit me on a whim. Maybe what you do isn't play in the strictest sense of the word. Doesn't it help you blow off steam? I expect. But you go about your business as you like, and your actions have a direct effect on the culture in our world. I say that's the sort of life that's any aspiring Homo Ludens would envy, don't you?
Yeah, that would be fun. Rebuilding America and beyond. Jake Wind. Dear Sam, it was good of you to come visit us again. It can't be easy doing what you do on the body or on the mind.
It's like it's a video game. I get it.
You're such a freaking genius.
Wow.
God, I had not expected that.
Holy shit.
Guess that's what makes you a legend, huh? Well, whoever came up with the idea of sending comms via the beach is a legend too. As far as I'm concerned, what kind of person even considers something like that? It's like whoever decided to try and tame lightning back in the days. To think someone looked at those violent flashes of electricity and said, I can control it, create it. And then they did. Maybe the beach is the same sort of phenomenon. Something we can't get our heads around right now, but once we do, once we learn to harness its power, it'll lead to a revolution that changes everything. Imagine if we could not only rebuild America, but make a better world than the one that came before.
Yep. Did we not get that email like 3 months ago? I could swear he sent the same thing like 3 months ago. You know what? It is, to be fair, I ignored the wind farm for a long time.
For a while,
so
yeah.
now we got the wind farm messages from the beginning of the game being like, oh yeah, this rebuilding America thing sounds pretty cool. It's like, bro, we're fucking we're 80% done. Where you at?
Like, change is happening. Change happened already.
Dear Sam, thanks yet again. It's getting to the point, if it hasn't already, where words won't cut it. They broke the mold when they made you. Seriously, I've been here since I first came through, and I was damn proud to be assigned to this posting. But truth be told, there were times when I worried about the second expedition would never happen. They wouldn't get the Cupid to work. What if American Reconstructionism was all a silly pipe dream? Looking back, I can't blame myself for nearly losing faith. Never saw the real America for myself, but you came along and gave me something to believe in again. You have to finish it for all of us. Make us whole again.
Port Knot City, giving it everything. Hey Sam, was thinking I ought to report back to you on how we're doing over here. First things first, the Carol network blew my mind. It's so much better than what I was expecting. The latest news from Capital Knot, way station dispatches, and distro center updates in real time, without any lag whatsoever. What's more, we can now rely on generator power to keep us online. That alone's a real game changer. We can send and receive all kinds of supplies too, even without the help of porters like you. As long as we've got the raw materials, the Carol printer can provide us with the most anything we need. You should see the skyline here. Cranes all over the place. The city's turned a corner, if you ask me. To be honest, it almost brings a tear to my eye to see how far we've come. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. The important thing is that it's all going much better than expected. Catch you later, Sam.
Great. What?
Victor Frank, twice.
Is it the same thing?
Nope.
Okay. Hey, there's that Port Knot City's grown by leaps and bounds. I told you about all those cranes and whatnot before, right? Well, that was only the beginning. These days, there's so many containers and cranes coming or whatever at the distro center that it's like a challenge to get through the front door. Been working real hard to increase our productivity, and I'm proud to say that it was a result of our exports at the distro centers and way stations increasing all the time, which means, of course, we're importing more and more in return as well. This must be what it feels like to put the country back together, right? Bringing people together, building the UCA. Just think it was a pipe dream, and seeing it happen now every bit day and day. This is just nothing. This is just nothing. Just more nothing.
The musician. Music Unlimited. Yo, Sam! Thanks for dropping by, man. Gotta say, I wasn't expecting visitors, but hey, it was good to see somebody. Anyways, I decided to join the UCA just to see what the deal is. I mean, I heard the rumors, but I was always a bit skeptical. I didn't think countries or borders or whatever had anything to do with music. I was way off, though. The Carol network's incredible. A guy can get all the music he could ever need. There's some seriously good shit on here, too. It's all pretty old, though. far as I can see, nobody's written anything new in forever. Oh man, that's sad to hear. Nobody except me, that is. Y'all might be happy putting the classics on repeat, but that's not how I roll, man. Ain't a life worth living without new sounds, you feel me? Yeah, boy!
How's it hanging, Sammy boy? Looks like my parents were musicians. So, like, my parents were musicians and researchers, right? Well, when I was little, my mom taught me something that stuck with me. She said that the first music humans ever had was the sound of footsteps, tempo, volume, intensity.
Oh.
All that shit came from cavemen whenever mimicking the sounds their feet made when they walked. Figures, yeah? You know, how you can't help but bob your head to the beat when you hear a tune? How you can imagine all kinds of sights and sounds and your soul just sings? It's all part of it, man. Oh, and that baby you got strapped to your chest? The sound of your footsteps is totally music to the little guy's ears for sure. You gotta whistle and hum and stuff to get him to chill when he's freaking out too, alright? There you go. Music. It's totally primal. Walking on two legs made us human in the first place, and then our two legs go and give us music, too. It's pretty sweet when you think about it, and I bet it works the other way too. No more music, no more humans. Whoa, that's pretty deep. Explain your theory, sir. You just said a sentence and then got, like, you know, then you went like, wow, that's deep, and you didn't even explain it.
Wow. Is it like when a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody there? Does it make a sound?
Well, I mean, I remember when I was like leaving the church and I had a conversation with a pastor about like, I was like, wow, I was like, why do we sing hymns? Is it just tradition? You know? And I was like, yeah, pretty much. And this is the stuff, but these are also like special songs that were, you know, written and they're inspired and whatever and stuff. I'm like, okay, but what if you don't like songs in particular? Like, I mean, what about like the music itself is not holy, like the Bible is, but who cares about the music, right? What if I just didn't care for music? Like, would that be a problem?
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, you didn't really know how to approach the question. It's kind of like, well, but everyone kind of likes music. I mean, you know, and it's like, it is tradition. It's not strictly a part of what we do, but it is sort of like important to what we do. And I was like, yeah, but it's not strictly like relevant, like, in the sense that, I mean, it's relevant, but it's not mandatory, right? Like, if we're talking about the existence and the creation of all mankind and stuff, then like, we can do without this detail because you're talking about someone who created all things in a universe.
So it's like, I really love the word, but the music.
So like humming a song is
not an important medium.
It's not an important detail when it comes to the creation of all the universe, right? And he was like, I'm like, no satisfactory answers on that. Okay, cool. It was a much longer version of that conversation, but ultimately it was just this thing where it's like, well, we do this because it's tradition, and I can't say that it's as important as the Bible itself is, but
it still carries the message.
But you're weird if you don't like it in a way. Kind of thing.
He just went out and said it.
No, he didn't say that. But it was kind of like, well, but if you like God, then you should like the things that are associated. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, but you're not. Like, I'm coming at this from like, if I were to strip apart a radio, how many pieces can I take away and still have the radio work?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out here, right? If you're talking about a thing that created all things, how many parts can I strip away and still have it work? Do we need a church? Do I need benches? Do I need a guy in front of us? Do we need a cross?
Yeah. Or can I just be alone?
Can I be can I be in an empty white room? Yeah. Does this book matter? Does the book not matter? If I know all the book words by heart, does what, you know? Like, that's what I'm trying to talk about, because I'm like, let's strip it down. And yeah, it was an interesting conversation, to say the least. But music was in fact an essential part, despite the fact that, you know, we kind of came up with it and it's cool, but I don't think we die without it.
Yeah. The power
of... Wait, did I skip one?
Oh, wow, okay.
Hey, Sam, you're quite something, aren't you? Delivering cargo out there all by yourself, stitching America back together? I mean, I'm not surprised you're up to it. You're a repatriate, after all, and a member of Bridges. Still, you've gone above and beyond. There's something about you, I guess. Maybe it's just something to do with the connection between the president and Amélie. Well, I guess I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, you gotta save the world. I just know it. So no one really knows his identity, I guess. Right? He's secretly the son of the president. Okay.
The power of music propels us forward. Sam, my man, I had this really cool idea. You gotta hear it. So I made all these new songs, right? Well, I'm going to share them over the Carol network, and then I'm going to stream a couple performances so my fans all over the country can watch me play live. I'm going to get everybody to holo in and watch it together, so it'll be just like an actual show, like on Fortnite. Man, if you thought my songs were good, just wait till you see me on stage. It's gonna blow your freaking mind. Way better than Marshmallow. Bet you wanna know how I came up with such a great idea, huh? Well, I figured if people ain't gonna get off their asses, put one foot in front of the other for the future and all that, the power of music might just be enough to get those feet moving. Am I right? See you at the show, Sam. I'll save you a front row seat. You're gonna love it.
What's Marshmallow?
Marshmallow is this DJ that had a Fortnite show, and it was a
God, the live show,
Yes.
show that took place inside of the game.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Super
I was
popular.
like, what are you talking about right now?
You caught up.
See, you know what's cool about Fortnite is when people make those musical things where there's like a track where you run on like the notes and then it plays a song. That was cool. I thought that was pretty creative.
Like the piano and stuff.
Yeah, that was interesting. Right. I thought that was fun.
Have your EDM fix.
Port Knot's a real boomtown. Things just keep getting better and better here in Port Knot City. Sam, you've got everyone so fired up that we could do to do what we could for this place, and now we're all starting to see the fruits of our labors. You take a look at the distro center already? Can't believe the number of shipments it's processing nowadays. Trade is booming. Needless to say, it's all thanks to you. That's why we gave you that star. It's a symbol of our gratitude. We only give them to special people we trust. It's not just for show. I presume you've heard the rumors about porters who receive stars from preppers can make use of their shelters. Maybe you could give it a try. Anyway, just want to say thanks for all the help.
Cheers.
Yep.
First prepper. Food tastes better when you're up high.
I want, like, the word up.
Yeah, I skipped it anyway. Listen, Sam, preppers like me, we're all about self-sufficiency.
Oh, God.
You gotta be willing to teach yourself how to do damn near everything, cooking included. By the by, I'm pretty good at it, if I do say so myself. One thing I've always believed is that food tastes better when you eat it outside. I know, most people are too scared to look outside their front door these days, but that's neither here or there. The best kind of spot to chow down, if you ask me, is the top of a mountain. The fresh air and the view make for a far better culinary experience. Say, why don't you come join me for a spot of al fresco during dining sometime? You'll love it, I promise. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Last time I was eating out, I saw something really weird. This sort of freaky glowing thing. I mean, I can't say for certain. I'd had quite a bit of Timefall Porter at the time. Maybe you'd better go take a look for yourself, Sam. Would you do that for me?
That's complete bullshit, because when you're outside, the smell of your food is going to get blown away, so you can't taste it better.
Right.
Food tastes better when the smell of it is being experienced at the same time as you eating it. So indoors...
Unless you're eating ass.
Ah,
I'm sorry, I apologize, everybody. That was terrible.
yeah, I mean, but you're also spouting truth, so you're forgiven. But if you are drinking beer tastes better out of a beer stein.
Yeah.
The reason why it tastes better out of a stein is because the glass contains it and pushes the smell at you while you're drinking it, so you get the maximum flavor because your nose matters in that context.
Yeah.
If you're fucking eating a steak outside and the wind is blowing half of the steak smell away from you,
You're losing so much of the experience.
so fuck you, first prepper, you're a liar.
Oh man, steak is so good. I would totally go for a steak right now. God damn. A snapshot of ages past. Sam, do you recall the handprint you brought me? Well, I hope you're sitting down. Because when I analyzed it, I discovered that it was 65 million years old. It dates back to the late Cretaceous period when the dinosaurs became extinct. I did fear that perhaps it was just a rock, and the handprint itself had been added much later, but that seems not to be the case. Could someone have traveled through time via the beach in order to leave it? If not, how could it possibly have been made? I plan to look into the matter further, and will get in touch when I learn more. If you happen to stumble across anything that might shed light on this mystery, you'll let me know too, won't you?
This game is pointing really hard at the WrestleMania sign, and the WrestleMania sign is dinosaurs. All right? Like, At this point, they're doing the point. They're doing the point towards the big sign, and the big sign just says fucking dinosaurs, bruh. I'm not gonna put my expectations in a place where they have to deliver on dinosaurs, but they kind of have to deliver on dinosaurs. There's a bit too much of this going on, and if they have feathers, someone's getting fucked. Someone's getting fucked up.
There you go.
How dare you? Don't fuck with me in these fucking feathers, bro. I don't play that shit. I don't play that shit. If I see a single fucking feather, I'm kicking this fucking table over. Thanks for delivering the coats and boots. Thanks for picking up Dead Man's coats and boots. They were loaners. And a size we don't stock in excess. In fact, it's so rare someone asks for them that when someone asks for them, we only had the one set anyway. We'll give it a good wash before placing them into store. Fuck you.
They only had one set.
Fucking worthless.
They don't have the blueprint to print them.
What a fucking worthless mission.
Carol nightmares.
Oh yeah, that's what you look like. Okay, well there you go. He looks like someone.
I don't know.
I feel like I recognize that face.
Is it the ears? Is it the eyes?
No, it's the facial features and the square jaw. Anyway,
all right. Well,
the
you
5
think
o'clock
about
shadow.
it. Dear Sam, thanks to you, the Carol contamination's all cleared up. Nasty symptoms, though. Dizziness, headaches, insomnia. At first I was worried it was all down to my isolation in this shelter and the intense focus on my research for the past year. But it got real bad when the nightmares started. I saw the end of the world. A portal to the beach opening and BTs pouring through by the thousands. There was nowhere to run, no time. And they began scooping us up one by one. And then the void outs came, bigger and bigger, until a massive one, or several massive ones, enveloped the whole world and poof, just like that. When I told Hartman about it, he likened it to the visions of extinction doom sufferers tend to experience. It's strange though. After all, we now have incontrovertible proof that Carolian is far from a recent addition to our world. Anyway, that's a problem for a different day. The important thing is that I'm cured, and it's all thanks to you. So a lot of people having these dreams, huh?
When I told Hartman about it, he likened it to the visions extinction dooms sufferers tend to experience. It's strange, though. After all, we now have incontrovertible proof that Carolian is far from a recent addition to our world.
Yes, that we were aware of.
Are we?
Yeah, they said Carol matter has been found in the strata of Earth a long time ago.
Okay. I must have...
And it was even at every phase of extinction,
Yes, that I got, right? But I guess... Okay, so it's when it shows up in such abundance like this that it pertains to the Death Stranding.
Yes.
Because Carolian directly led to timefall, which directly led to exposure to beaches, which directly led to BTs, which directly led to literally all of the effects and dooms and repatriation and all of this is the result of one element being incorporated into our world in excess, right? And the answer is Carolian. So, yes, it's always been present, but it's never been abundant unless it was at a Stranding event, I suppose. Okay.
Okay, we've gone through the mail.
Yeah. There are also interviews, but we'll save those for next time.
Okay.
So we will call it there, because that's a solid closing in on 5 hours.
Indeed.
So in the meantime, that's some good progress rather. And I see a whole lot of network I can go tighten up and fucks with.
These UCA labels, they're everywhere. Come a long way.
At first it says bridges when they're not, there's when they first connect to you, but then they're not part of it. So yeah, I'm not going to promise 5 stars around the board when you come back, but
there'll be stuff.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
I only have 2 days after all, right?
Yeah.
So Cool. Let me get that save. Yo, that helmet is so sick. I'm so fucking happy I got that helmet, and I'm so bummed I can't wear it and look cool whenever I want to. Fuck you, helmet.
Get more batteries.
Sucks. Unload. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Should